Hi, this is Radiance Thompson here. Today we're talking about strengthening your intuition to create a life as tasty as it looks, even if you're a black sheep. Now, today we're only going to be talking about why it's important for you to be strengthening your intuition, even though you may have been the self-proclaimed black sheep of the family. And I personally am as well, so I'm right there with you. And this live is for you if you're someone that's had to forge their own path. Perhaps you've been misunderstood by the people who should be closest to you. You may have felt like you didn't fit in, and this may have translated to other parts of your life, perhaps not fully fitting into friends groups, or perhaps not fully fitting into your work environment, perhaps not fully fitting into your school environment. And because you see the world differently than those around you, you've had to trust yourself to forge your own path and create get to your North Star, and you've already created a level of success in your life. So there's a level of deliciousness in your life that you already enjoy. And now you want to create a life that tastes even more delicious than it looks and feels right now. You want to trust yourself to have a high level of discernment so you can stop wasting your time overthinking, going back and forth in your head, allowing you to get to your next level faster. And you want to create that next level with less friction, more and less force, and more flow and more fulfillment. And you're a vibrationally sensitive visionary. And by sensitive, I don't mean vulnerable, weak, or less than, more like energetically aware, attuned, and perhaps even hyper aware more than the average person. And you have a light that's easily recognized by others. You shift the energy of the room as soon as you walk in the door, or perhaps you want this ability, and you can sense into the energies and emotions and intentions of others. And now, because you are a black sheep and you've already probably accepted this as who you are when it comes to your family, I'm talking to you as a vibrationally sensitive visionary who is a black sheep that, doesn't necessarily screw people over intentionally. Like, I'm not talking about that type of person. I'm talking about someone that thinks and behaves differently than perhaps what's socially accepted. Perhaps people have held your past over your head. And even though you've become a different person than who you were 5, 10 years ago, people still hold those things over your head as if they're today. Because they'd rather see you for who you were instead of seeing you for who you are. Because seeing you for who you are would actually mean that they'd have to acknowledge perhaps even some of the things that they've done, correct? Um, Perhaps you've also decided to change part of your life, change the way that you see the world, and you're criticized because of your differing beliefs. Because you've chosen growth and consciously choose progress over staying in the same place and choosing the same cycle of insanity and expecting a different result, you are even accused of being more and bougie. And bougie isn't a bad thing, by the way. You already have achieved a level of success, and now you're looking back and seeing how far you've come, and you're wanting to go further. You're wanting to maintain a level of success with more flow, more fun, more fulfillment, and with less force, with less friction. So, the issues with being a black sheep and being vibrationally sensitive is that it triggers self abandonment, where you may talk yourself out of doing what you said you were going to do. You may go down the rabbit hole of things that could potentially go wrong. And this translates into you overthinking decisions because your body is already preparing itself for a potential backlash of you being rejected for your ideas or your perceptions or how you behave. And you may even overstay your welcome in relationships or situationships because you don't want to experience that rejection. And your nervous system or your body may even prepare itself for impact to feel safe from being punched down or rejected. And this causes you to lean into perfectionism and this may cause you to over prepare to the point of procrastination or delaying taking action because unconsciously there's a part of you that thinks making everything perfect will keep you safe from being rejected or people not liking you or people not liking what you put out. If you're a business owner, especially or in the corporate world, and you have an idea that you want to move forward with, it may stagnate your process or your progress. And this conditioning can create a pollution in your energy field that either makes you not move forward in the pace that you'd like, or it prevents you from even taking the necessary action steps that you could be taking, or it prevents you from seeing that you are capable of changing your reality. So if you have identified that perhaps, hey, I have that level of conditioning within me, I have a few posts. Go back to my posts within the last few days. I talk about my left foot and how that has a lot to do with my perception of not being able to change my reality, and how that was a conditioning that I manifested, excuse me, and how that conditioning manifested into left foot ailments. So go ahead and check that post out. Also, go ahead and check my post out, my live out, shut out the noise and tap into your inner guidance system. Check that live out as well for some value there. Now, let's get back to it. The conditioning that you have has created a pollution in your energy field where you can start to believe that there's something wrong with you. And it can either make you not fully trust your intuition, or only trust yourself and your own inner deliberation versus other outside sources. And the problem with only trusting your own inner self and your own introspection and your own inner deliberation versus even considering outside sources is that it can block you from a level of self-awareness that is achieved through receiving constructive criticism. And because your inner deliberation is associated with logic, data, analytics, facts, it can also block you from the inner resources, the wealth of inner resources that are available when you know how to lean into your emotions and allow yourself to feel things. Because leaning only into facts and not allowing yourself to feel may be because feelings may not feel safe for you. Being vulnerable may not feel safe for you. So, in doing that, you're actually blocking yourself from your intuition and your own authenticity. And in relying on artificial intelligence and analytical data, you may also block yourself from divine intelligence, which will allow you to move forward faster towards your goals when you're able to tap into that infinite wealth of resources, which is the divine intelligence. And if you're someone that only values your perspective and not allows yourself to allow your guard to be down, you can block yourself from opportunities and relationships that can be potentially lucrative financially, or just provide that soul nourishment that we need from connection. So, while being a black sheep has given you your own sense of agency, knowing when to employ that sense of agency and where you're being authentic to yourself and when to shut out the noise and when to allow other people to come in and give their 2 cents and actually valuing those 2 cents is an art in itself. So, it's important to have an inner and outer diplomacy and knowing how to use your own sense of agency. And that is achieved by knowing how to tap into your intuition. So, when you know how to tap into your intuition to make decisions that get you to your North Star, that's how you get to your next level faster. And that's how you create a life that tastes even more delicious than it looks. So, having a strong intuition will help you make decisions for ideas when you're launching your business. Let's say your team is saying, let's rinse, wash, and repeat what's always worked. And there's a part of your soul that's nudging you to do something else. And you're saying, okay, it's time to pivot. That's when you really need your intuition, because that's when you are able to say, okay, I can listen to people that I know have my back, and I can employ my own sense of agency and see what's authentic to me, and tune into my intuition and into divine intelligence and see where I'm being guided to. And it can help you with making a decision when it comes to having business relationships that are lucrative. And even though there's a part of you that's saying, hey, this feels risky, I don't know if it's safe to do this, knowing when to take that leap forward and when to yield is an art in itself as well that comes from knowing how to tap into your intuition. And I talked about this in my other live where I talk about the right foot manifestations and issues with your right foot and how that can have to do with conditioning, where you're not trusting yourself to take a leap of faith. I talk about how a physical issue with your right foot has a lot to do with inner conditioning left unresolved, where you don't trust yourself to be in the unknown and knowing how to leave your familiar surroundings. So I talk about that in one of my lives. I think it's the Shut Out the Noise one. So go ahead and listen back to that to get some value about how your right foot and any issues in your right foot that you have noticed could be because you are afraid to take a leap of faith. Go ahead and go back to that live. Now, your intuition can also help you with asking for a promotion. And even though perhaps you've taken maternity leave, or you had to take a leave for bereavement, or you had to take a leave just to take care of yourself, and you're like, hey, even though I took a leave from my job for this particular amount of time, I know I bring value to the table. And now that I'm coming back, I want to come back with a little bit more money in my pocket, with more stake in the company, with more influence, and asking for that promotion in spite of taking that leave. You need your intuition to have, again, that balance between your own inner sense of agency and being able to discern between outside noise that can potentially benefit you with taking the next step and asking for that promotion. So, now, again, we talked about the inner deliberation, and we talked about the introspection. Now, the problem again with being a black sheep is that it can delay progress that you want to make to get to your next level. It can create more friction and more force and missteps because you're overthinking and going back and forth in your head with decision making. And this is because, as a black sheep, the outer rejection either makes you reject yourself inwardly because you think something's inherently wrong with you, because you weren't accepted by the people that you in a perfect world would be accepted by unconditionally. And then you self abandon. And then you people please. And then you can even be selfless to the point of self sacrifice. And then this can also cause you to outsource your decision making to others, where you use ChatGPT and you have a codependent relationship with ChatGPT. And it can also make you not easily trusting, where you have a wall up. And we talked about that as well. So I get it, because as a self proclaimed black sheep, I know how it feels to want that level of comfort, where I ask people for their advice because I want to take the load off, I want to take the pressure off, and I want to have that external validation of, hey, someone's guiding me in the right direction. I don't have to do this by myself. And on the flip side, I've been in positions where I've only trusted myself and I've only relied on myself, and I have shut out everyone. And then that prevented me from having really great relationships with some really amazing people. And it prevented me from accessing opportunities that would allow me to get to my next level as well. So when I drop information for my workshop that's coming up on October 21st through October 21st, 22nd, 23rd, October 24th. It's a 4-day workshop. We're going to be talking about strengthening your intuition. And we're going to be using my self trust framework. So that way you can learn when to shut out the noise, when to filter outside noise, and see if it's actually going to serve you and get you to your next level faster, or if it's going to help you in some way that allows you to make your process, your direction, your steps feel less like force, less like, excuse me, like a push. Like, I shouldn't say like a push like this. Sometimes you have to push yourself. I guess the word that I'm looking for is more like moving through sand, where this feels like everything feels heavy. When you have that discernment to know what advice to take in and what advice to leave on the table, that is where you have to employ your intuition. So we're going to be talking about this, my self-trust framework. We're going to also be talking about my signature heal method that will allow you to use your intuition So you can make the decisions that either help you maintain the level of success that you've already created or help you continue to build on that success, get you to your north star, get you to your next level faster with less friction, less force, more flow, more fun, and more fulfillment. So be on the lookout because I'm going to drop the workshop link today, and we start on October 21st. Thank you for watching this live, and I will be seeing you in the workshop. Oh, press the wrong button.